What's going on, beautiful people? Hello, hello, hello. Today is December 29th, 2019. Let me check the audio on my phone. I'm going to make sure it's coming through clearly. Give me 1 second. Double check the audio on my phone. All right. We're good. Welcome to Dough for Degrees Community Scholarship Chat, our final scholarship chat for 2019. We're 2 days away from a new year. Well, the 30th, 31st, and the 1st. Well, 3 days. We're 3 days away from a new year, a new decade, new opportunities, expansion, blessings, everything coming your way. It is our last chat of the year. It's 3 o'clock p.m. Y'all know we go to 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every single Sunday. My name is Danielle Jeffers. I'm your host for our scholarship chat. And if you're not aware of what Dough for Degrees is or how we help students, Dough for Degrees is a scholarship coaching company where we teach students how to earn scholarships to go to college and graduate debt-free. I graduated debt-free from Virginia Tech on May 17th of 2019, having earned more than $200,000 in scholarships. And so this opportunity, this space where we go live on our YouTube channel is to answer any questions anyone has about scholarships, college, how to pay for college, how to graduate debt-free, every single Sunday at 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We also give content throughout the week. We're still playing catch up. We have to produce 9 videos this week. I have not forgotten about y'all, but I've been planning and strategizing and getting things together while also working with clients. It's always a work in progress. Y'all heard me say it a couple of lives ago, but this YouTube channel is structured very similar to how my scholarship process was structured. I averaged 3 submissions per week when I was applying for scholarships, and I typically average 3 video uploads per week on this YouTube channel. But we're playing catch up. We're getting back on track. So what are we going to talk about today? Well, as always, if you have a question or a comment about scholarships, leave it in the chat. My chat should be working. Let me try to send a message to make sure it's working. Yeah, it's working. If you have a question or comment, please leave one in the chat box. I'd be more than happy to address it in regards to how you can earn scholarships to go to college and graduate debt-free, or just about college in general. I'm also, hey, Ricardo, I hope all is well. I am going to take the time today to give you a glimpse into what we'll be doing in 2020 through Dough for Degrees. What's our plan for 2020? So I'm big on this, commitment and intentions. In the last, I would say, 7 months, because I started doing YouTube consistently when I moved to Woodbridge after I graduated, and that was in May of this year. For the last 7 months, I've been giving content, building, hey sister, I hope all is well, building a system, a structure to help introduce myself to the world on YouTube about how we help students earn scholarships to go to college and graduate debt-free. I've been giving tips, I've been giving advice, I've been helping you take steps, especially as we apply for the YFL scholarship together, as you fill our applications together, guiding you all through that. And if you ever need to contact me, you need to talk with me one-on-one, don't forget to click the contact link that's on the About page of our YouTube channel. It's usually listed in the description box of each video. And you can go to my website, doughfordegrees.com, and click the FAQ tab. And the sub tab under the FAQ tab is the contact tab. And if you look in the description box of this video, the link to contact me is also there as well. So if you ever want to talk to me, just pick the time that works best for you, and I'll give you a call or whichever method of communication you choose at the appointed time. That's simple. You can get in contact with me. But what's the strategy for 2020? So let me take you back to 2019. Throughout this year, you saw us do the In My Bag tour. We touched more than 700 lives by giving back to 2 different communities, one in my hometown of Danville, Virginia, and then also the second one was in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. You met some of our friends, some of my team members, some of the people who have impacted me directly and helped me be successful. You met Corey Acker Green. You met my mentor, Thomas Harrelson. I've spoken about my sister several times. She's always in the lives. She watches a lot of the content. You've heard me speak about my mother. A lot of the people who have impacted me, you've heard directly from them or you are aware of them. Now in 2020, it's all about helping you succeed. It's all about helping you reach the next level. We're going to work on the Taco Bell Live My Scholarship. That's the first scholarship we will work on as a team, as students, as parents, whoever watches our YouTube videos, as a community, basically, in 2020. That's the first scholarship we'll work on. And I dropped the link to that in the last video. When I go back to edit this video, I'll drop the link there as well. We're going to work on that scholarship. I'm going to teach you how to win scholarships in 2020. I'm going to give you structures and systems. So there will still be free content. I'm giving you a heads up. There'll still be free content every week for you to absorb. But if you want the inside practical steps to how I was able to succeed and earn scholarships to graduate debt free, that's going to require an investment, like some ebooks or some courses or something like that. Or if you even want to meet me in Maryland on February 1st and February 8th of 2020 to take the course I'll be leading called College Without Student Loans at the College of Southern Maryland, you can do that as well. Expect a video for that to come in January to break down how you can enroll in that course. All these opportunities are here to help you get what you need to know, or to learn what you need to learn to be able to pay for college without having to take out a student loan. This was my number one thought process when I was in school. I said, I refuse to go to college to get an education and then not get an education about college's financial impact. Let me say it again. Don't go to college to get an education and refuse to be educated on the impact, the financial impact of going to college. College is an investment. It's one of the largest investments you'll make in your life. Because considering today is typically a six-figure investment, and you're allowed to make that large of an investment at 18 or 19 years old. So don't think about college as, oh, it's my opportunity to get away from my parents and just have fun and go wild. Yes, you can take those things. You can indulge. I'm not encouraging you to do that. Now, trust me, I had my moments. I'm not advising you to do that. But be strategic in what you do, because the way you spend your years in college can impact the rest of your life. And so my biggest thing is I want to make sure you have access to the information about how to pay for college. Because with anything you go into, there's always a language you need to understand and be able to apply to any situation. So for instance, if you're going to study business in college, you're going to learn the language of business. If you're going to study architecture in college, you're going to learn the language of architecture. There are certain terms and jargon that are used in both industries that maybe they don't cross. They're used in one industry, they're not using another. What happens typically is students go to college, but they don't understand the language or jargon of college, like EFC, budget, FAFSA, student loan debt. Like they don't understand about the interest rates, unsubsidized, subsidized student loans. They don't understand it about the language, but they're still going and they're entering a financial trap. So I want to make sure you have access to that information. If there's anything you want us to talk about in future videos, you want us to really focus on in 2020, drop a comment. Let me know. Leave a thought in the chat. I'm here to serve you. So whatever you have questions about, let me know. If you want to know, if you're contemplating on joining a club or an organization, you don't know if it's the right fit for you, and you want me to talk about how I made those types of decisions, let me know. I'll be more than happy to help you. My sister says, so true. Those 4 years can set you up for fortune or failure. That's absolutely true. It's going to set you up either way. Duda Vision said 2020 equals no time for small change. I like that, Duda Vision. No time for small change. That's a good way to put it. You got to make big decisions in 2020. I want you to make decisions that will impact your legacy. If you haven't learned anything from the way I produce my videos and my content, then let me give you an inside tip. I'm a long-term thinker. I think about tomorrow, but I work for my legacy. I work for what I'll be known for after I leave this earth. And that may be a big way to think about life. That may be a little bit much for some people. I'm not trying to throw that on you, but I'm letting you know how I think. And the way you should think about paying for college is think long-term. Once again, it's investment. And if you've watched Shark Tank or Marcus Lemonis, The Profit or The Partner, or any type of investment business-related TV show, you know they invest in products and services that will give them a return on their investment. They're putting money in to get money back, to get expansion, to get leverage, to get new business opportunities, all that stuff. And college is exactly that. And so the only way you're going to get a return on your investment, the best way to get a return on your investment is to graduate with little to no debt. Think about it this way. When you go to college, what are you putting in? You're putting in your time, right? You're putting in your energy. You're putting in some type of money, because it's not free, typically, in order to get what? A certification, a degree, something to show that you are a specialist in a certain area or field. Now, once you have that degree, that type of certification, you take that and do what? Do the same thing. You exchange something else for something. You put your time into an employer or a business to get a return on it, so you can have money to pay your bills and be independent and responsible. It's a cycle. You do the same thing over and over. You put something in, usually your effort and your time, to get what back? 9 times out of 10, it's money. That's the exchange from an American system, from 18 to 65 and older. You put something in until you can get money back, basically, or you spend money to get something back. When I say that, I'm asking you to think long term. Is there a certain way that you want to live life that's not the cultural norm, that will force you to be different and do something different? Have you looked at our playlist called The Student Debt Epidemic and watched the stories of countless individuals who are suffering from heavy loads of student loan debt and how that impacts their daily lives? If you haven't, go ahead and watch that playlist. It's a playlist on our channel, and it's full of stories. A story of a young lady who says that her student loan payment is $1,000 a month and her rent is just as much. Which one do you pay? Do you pay your rent to make sure you have a roof over your head, or do you pay your student loan payment? And then when you don't pay your student loan payment because you chose to pay your rent, now you owe even more because of the interest rates. So that's my biggest thing, is don't go to college to get an education and refuse to be educated on its financial impact. I'm going to break it down to you another way. When you go to college, you're going to get something they have that you don't, which is IP, intellectual property. You're going to get knowledge. You're going to learn something that you don't know. So while you're there, it's extremely important that you learn all that you can. And notice the trends in the way people live their lives while they're in college. It's one of the biggest things I learned. Now, I'm not being stereotypical. I'm not saying everyone does this. But the typical routine of a college student is you study hard and do your work Monday through Friday. And then on Friday night, Saturday, you turn up. You go out, have fun on the weekend, pop some bottles, do whatever you do, and turn up. Now, Sunday, you're trying to recoup, let go of your hangover, and get ready for class on Monday. Like, you're just trying to get some water in your body and some Gatorade to get your electrolytes up. That's the typical routine of college. That's how it's marketed to you. An opportunity to get away from your parents, to learn something, and to get a degree so you can go live the life that you've always wanted to live. Okay, I understand. But here's what they're not telling you. And this is typically what's not taught. They may have classes on it on the side, like go to the Student Success Center and learn about time management and all that stuff. But if you don't learn the critical skills you'll need to know to survive after college, you'll repeat a cycle that many people repeat in their lives today. If you don't learn how to manage your time, if you don't learn how credit works, if you don't learn how to be independent, survive, pay your bills, to keep your head above water, if you don't put a plan in action for the next 10 years of your life while you're in college for those 4 years, you'll step into the real world with your degree, but your decisions will be full of uncertainty because you haven't taken the time to plan out and think of a course of action. You just did it because that's what everyone has done. So I'm asking you to look at the patterns of most students, the habits of most people, and choose to do something differently. And while you're choosing to do something differently, you will probably come against a lot of obstacles, a lot of talk, a lot of storms, confusion, because people won't understand you. And when people don't typically understand, they tend to oversee with their opinions, their unsolicited advice. But stick to your gut. Do what you know is right. Now, I painted the picture for you of what a typical college student's week looks like. You work hard Monday through Friday, take your classes. Friday night, Saturday, you turn up, pop bottles, have fun. Sunday, you recoup, try to get over your hangover, and get ready for class. That's the typical routine, okay? Now, what did I do while I was in college? You don't have to do everything I've done. I hope that what I've done only gives you an idea of what you can do. I'm not asking you to duplicate me because I made a lot of mistakes. I want you to have your own journey. But what I typically did was I would work hard Monday through Friday, and I would take as many opportunities as I could to learn under other people. I would go to these free lecture sessions. I would go to these free networking opportunities. I would try to speak to as many university officials as possible and network with the people on my campus. And then on Friday nights and Saturdays, I stayed in and learned how to build a business from the ground up. I would wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday and work on my company all day long, and then spend Sunday doing my homework. And Friday night would be my day off, my time off for me to do what I want to do. That's simply what I did. But I applied for scholarships Monday through Friday so I could spend my weekends learning how to build my business and actually putting more time into my business because I didn't have to go to class. So what I'm saying is, don't go to college to get an education and refuse to be educated on its financial impact. You're going to college to get something, to IP, intellectual property, to learn something. And if you really learn the patterns and the habits of most people, and you learn how to beat that system or beat that habitual nature and be better than that, you'll be more successful in the long run. Because if you look at the way most people live in college and the way most adults live today, who work a 9 to 5 or 40 hours a week, they own a business, whatever, I don't know, the habits are still the same. Maybe they're still sitting at the bar every Friday night having a drink with their friends. And if that's what they want to do, I'm not throwing shade on you. But I'm asking you to look at and ask yourself, what's your plan for your life? We dropped a video a while ago, and one of the things I kept talking about was, what's your plan for your life? What are you going to do? Because at 18, you typically have autonomy in the United States. You have the right to make a decision for yourself. And then it's your responsibility to deal with the effects and consequences of your decisions. So what is your plan? By failing to plan, you're planning to fail. If you don't put a plan in place, you're automatically going to fail because you have nothing to stand on. You have no way, no signal or guidance to tell you whether to turn right or left. Through the Vision said, how did a 12-year-old become so wise? Hope that people are taking this in. You're funny. You're funny, Through the Vision. Hilarious. No, it's a lot of trial and error. And so in 2020, y'all make sure y'all stay tuned. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, go ahead and subscribe to it. We're going to continue to give you free content, but I'm going to tell you right now, the way I teach is not going to change much unless I see a need to. I teach long term. I'm helping you think years, decades ahead. And while I'm doing that, I'm hoping that you learn the principles we teach along the way, like progress, not perfection. All these are principles. I said it like 6 weeks ago or something like that. I said I don't typically give tips and advice because those are contingent upon the way the system functions. If the college system were to change, then I would have to change my tips and change my advice. But I teach you on principles, things that you can take and apply to any situation, no matter what the circumstances may be. So let me remind you of a few principles we taught this year. The number one I kept reminding everyone was progress, not perfection. I'll type it in the chat so everyone is on the same page. Progress, not perfection. What does that mean? Progress, not perfection. That means don't seek to be perfect in anything you do. You will never be perfect. If you've already made a mistake up until today, then you can't be perfect because you made a mistake. It's okay to make mistakes, but seek to make progress in everything you do. Seek to get better each and every time. The number one person you're competing against your whole entire life is you. You are your worst enemy. Your willingness to procrastinate, your willingness to make excuses, your willingness to think less of yourself, your willingness to second guess yourself. You are your worst enemy. Focus on progress. Compare this work, this piece of content you created to past work and see how you can make progress. Don't necessarily compare it to other people because the way they do their stuff is the way they do their stuff. But be authentic in everything you do and make sure it's a good representation of you. My videos aren't full of all those special effects with stuff flying in and all this click and GIFs, and I don't do all that stuff. I don't have time to make it all fancy. I have time just to give you the raw and uncut material, and I hope it seeps into your mind so that it helps you make better decisions. When I want all that fancy stuff, I'm going to pay someone else to do it because I don't want to put my time into that. I'd rather put my time into making more content and creating better things, and then allowing someone else to put the finishing touches on it, put the icing on the cake, or however you want to say it. That's what I'm asking you to do, is to think with progress, not perfection. If you made a mistake, the biggest thing you can do is learn from the lesson. It is a lesson. It is not a loss. It's only a loss if you don't learn. When you learn, that helps you take and carry it into your next area. I'm going to be honest with y'all. Those of you who have followed me consistently this year, one of the common themes in everything I said, this was another principle, I'm going to type it in, is perseverance always wins. That's something I kept saying throughout a lot of my content. Perseverance always wins. And many times the stuff I say over and over again is a true reflection of what I'm going through in life. I relocated to Northern Virginia. By the time I got to Woodbridge, I had $10 in my pocket. This is one of the most expensive areas to live in the United States, Northern Virginia. The wealthiest county in America is like 2 counties over from me. And I came up here almost second guessing whether I made the right decision. So you kept hearing me say, when things get tough, persevere. When things get hard, you got to push through. It's not time to quit. If you quit, you lose. You kept hearing me say that over and over and over again because that was a true reflection of what I was going on in my personal life. So many times you'll hear me say the same things over and over again, not only to help you get through whatever you're going through and to help you earn scholarships, but to remind myself that you've come too far to quit now. And one of our core values at Dope for Degrees is fortitude, the willingness to push through when things get tough and work toward the best solution. We don't throw in the towel. We don't quit. You figure it out, basically. Figure it out and keep going. Those are two principles I taught. What's another one? I taught about the principle of excellence. Excellence is the constant pursuit of outstanding results. Excellence is not perfection, but it's the constant pursuit of outstanding results. Seeking to get better. Excellence and progress, not perfection, are one and the same. They go hand in hand. Okay? If you have any questions or comments about scholarships, leave them in the chat. We have 10 minutes left. I am really recapping this year and getting y'all ready for 2020. Save your pennies, save your duckies, save your dollars, because if you really want to learn how to earn scholarships to go to college and graduate debt-free, be ready to make an investment in one of Dope for Degrees products and services in 2020. You can take this free content. You can sample what we teach all day long. But if you want structure and you want a system and you want a plan, a course of action you can take, be ready to make an investment so you can get a return on it. I can give you the knowledge, the same thing they do in college. They give you the knowledge, but if you don't apply it, you'll never see the maximum impact it can have on your life. Knowledge is wonderful. It's great that you know so many things, but if you don't apply it, well, what's the point? It's like a nutritionist who knows how to eat, but they still eat all this nasty food every day, full of calories and saturated fats and all these things. What's the point of a nutritionist telling everyone else what to do and how to eat to live and not live to eat, and then they do the exact opposite? That's not wise. So it's important that you feed yourself, but then also you execute on what you know. Put your knowledge and test it. Test to see if it works. Test what I teach you. Let me know if it doesn't help you, so I know if I need to tweak something or say it a different way. Test what I say and let me know if it doesn't help you. But one thing I can tell you is I know it works because it worked for me. I walked that process, so hopefully what I'm teaching you will help you succeed too. I'm trying to think. What's another principle I taught? If anyone can remember one before I forget all of them, because I know I said a lot this year. Exposure is key. That's something I kept saying. Exposure is key. If you have a younger sibling, or if you have someone who's in middle school, hey Lily, peace. I hope all is well. If you have someone who is in elementary school, middle school, they're in high school, whatever, expose them to what college can be. Take them on college tours. Watch these college shows. I don't even know if there are any on TV or social media, whatever. I don't know. But expose them to what college life is like. That's one of the biggest things that helped me decide where I would go to school after I graduated from high school. Was I joined my Boys and Girls Club the summer before my 6th grade year of middle school. And one of the first things that the club did was they took us on college tours. We went to go see High Point University in North Carolina and UVA and Duke and Howard, and we would pick the schools that we were interested in, and they would find some way to come up with the money to expose us to what life could be like after college. I grew up in Danville, Virginia. There's not a lot in Danville, but the club did a great job of allowing us to shape our minds to believe that we could achieve anything we wanted to by exposing us to the endless possibilities. My sister said, ask your mentor what you can do for them instead of what they can do for you. I said, I did teach that. If you haven't watched those episodes we dropped early this year, I had a sit down conversation with my mentor, and I asked him what did he teach me and how did he teach me what he taught me? Why did he teach it to me that way that it was able to help me succeed? Yes, always ask other people, is there anything I can do to help you? Let me walk you through a story. And I think I told this story on a YouTube channel before in one of the past episodes. But oftentimes I would network on campus and meet with different officials, different representatives for Virginia Tech, like board of visitors representatives, very similar to a board of directors for a nonprofit. They make the decisions on how much tuition increases every year at the university. Mind you, my tuition at Virginia Tech increased 2 to 3% every single year. So whatever the sticker price is for the college you want to go to this year, trust me, it's probably going to increase quite a bit as you continue to progress through that college and earn your degree. As I would meet these people, I would always end the conversation by saying, is there anything I can do to help you? That is a huge reflection of generosity and service. Gratitude and service are two core values we have at Dope for Degrees. It's the willingness to serve someone without expecting anything in return. And that will open so many doors for you. You heard me talk about community service on this channel in almost every week. I talked about some form of community service. Just going out and impacting other people positively and giving your time and your effort and your energy to help someone else without expecting anything in return. I did that, and I'm going to teach you how I did that. What I typically did when I was in high school, and this is a key for anyone who hasn't heard me say this before, I hope you catch it right here. Do community service. By the time I got to my senior year of high school, I had earned more than 200 hours of community service. Racked them up through the Boys and Girls Club. What did I do? I would go clean up the streets. We did street cleanups in my hometown of Danville, Virginia. I would go visit the elderly in the nursing home. I would help the club when we took kids on college tours, like different things, be a chaperone, whatever, some type of community service, just giving back without getting paid or recognized, anything like that. And what I did was I tracked my hours. And what that allows you to do in your writing is it gives you an opportunity to tell a story about how you positively impacted other people without bragging or being big-headed. And so if you go out and serve other people, you will learn so many things. You will learn how you want to be served, but most importantly, you'll learn the importance of giving, because it's better to give than it is to receive. So I say all this to say, when you ask someone, is there anything I can do to help you? Or when you willingly do community service, do it with a good heart. Do it with the right heart posture. Don't do it to be recognized. Don't do it to get a light shine on you and to get all this praise and credit. Just do it to be of service, and track your hours if you're applying for scholarships. If you need something to help you track your hours, go to our website at doughfordegrees.com. On our products page of our website, there is a newsletter for free called the April 2018 Scholarship Newsletter. And inside of that newsletter, there is a community service tracker that you can download, a log you can download and fill that out each time you do community service. This is one of the biggest pieces of advice I give to students every single time I talk to them. If you're going to spend your time doing community service, there are two approaches you can take. The first one is to do it where you already are. You know you have to go to school every single day. So why not go in and ask your teacher? Try to get to class 5 minutes, 10 minutes earlier and ask them, can you help them prepare for the day ahead? Can you clean the desk? Can you clean the chalkboard or white erase board? Can you sharpen the pencil? People don't even probably use pencils anymore because everything's done on computer. They probably don't even use textbooks. I don't know. But anyway, can you do something to help them set up? Now, I'm going to show you how that works in your favor, which is something I did. You build a relationship and a rapport with that teacher. What's one of the biggest things they ask for when you're applying for scholarships? Letters of recommendation. People who can speak to your credibility and speak about how great of a student you are on your behalf. And it's better for someone to be able to tell a personal story about their experience with you than to use the same generic letter of recommendation they do all the time. So if you've been helping your teacher, when you go and ask them for a letter of recommendation, I'm sure they probably won't hesitate. They'd be more than happy to help you. And now they actually have something to say. They have a story to tell because they've had a chance to get to know you over the years. Okay, so that's one approach to doing community service. Now, let's say you don't have time to help your teacher. Go help your neighbor. Go help, if you go to after school program, go help there. I did that quite often. I would ask those people for letters of recommendation. And because we had spent so much time together, they had a great story to tell. The letter of recommendation was phenomenal. I have a 2-page letter of recommendation that I've kept that I use for scholarships. And it's probably one of the reasons why I won a lot of scholarships, because it was so personal and reflective. Let's see. I'm trying to think of other places you can do community service. Go ask your coach if you play a sport. I don't know, just go help someone and build that relationship. And the second approach you can take, this is something I do. If you want to study a certain field in college or study a certain industry or whatever, major in a certain thing, go do community service in that area. So for instance, for me, I thought I wanted to be a physical therapist because I tore my ACL at 14 years old, and my physical therapist literally changed my life because she spoke so much life into me. I'm like, I want to impact people like this. And so one of my leaders in my Boys and Girls Club said, I'll help you learn about physical therapy a little bit more before you decide to go to college and then realize it's not for you. And now you've wasted a year of your education because you did something that you didn't enjoy and now you have to change your major. So I shadowed someone who was a physical therapist in my hometown for a week. Now, that wasn't technically community service. Well, it was free labor. Yeah, so in a way, you could consider it community service. But for me, it was more of like a learning experience. And while shadowing her, I saw that this is not for me, because getting up and going to the same office every day drove me insane. And I only did it for 5 days. I did it for a week, one work week. I was like, this is driving me crazy, being in the same place all the time and not having opportunity to interact with new people or travel or do different things. Like, I knew what made me tick. So I quickly realized more about the industry. And I said, there's too much math and science in this for me too. Like, I don't like science enough to have to want to do this, because I started to look online and realized I had to take biology and chemistry and all this stuff. Like, yeah, that's not for me. Keep it simple. Give me something to write and add a couple numbers. I'm good. I know I'm good at those things. And to be able to speak, that's where I need to be. Put me in that position. So that quickly exposed me to what I could have become, which was a physical therapist. But within, I knew that's not what I need to be. That's not what I need to put my focus on. So I was able to make that decision sooner rather than later. So for instance, if you want to study IT, you want to study technology, why not go somewhere, for instance, a local business that sells computers or repairs computers, and agree to do community service there? Say you'll go in and clean the shelves at the end of the day every day in exchange for them teaching you the basics of computers for 20 minutes each day, or during the times when the store isn't really busy. That will give you an opportunity to learn, but you're also collecting community service hours, so you can write them on your log and talk about it in your essay. The main reason why many people win scholarships is because they've done something that most people haven't done, and they're distinctly different from every other applicant. For instance, for me, I was different because I was doing community service while also maintaining a high GPA, and kept saying I was going to go to school and graduate debt free. And then when I told you the backstory of my childhood, how I watched my mother go from walking to no longer walking, how both of my parents retired from their respective jobs by the end of my sophomore year of high school, how I also helped out at home because of my parents' illnesses. When you read about my ambitions and my willingness to serve on top of what I was going through at home and still being of service at home, it made you question why someone would do so much at such a young age, and therefore made me distinctly different from every other applicant who could typically say, yeah, I have a 4.1 GPA and I have a 1400 SAT score, but that's all they got to bring to the table. That's all they have to say. And there's nothing wrong with keeping your grades up. I'm asking you to keep your grades up at least a 3.0 GPA. And if you really want to challenge, maintain a 3.5. But if you have only operated in excellence in the classroom, what have you done with the rest of your life? How have you served other people with your time and your energy and your effort? So that's all I have for y'all. Y'all stay tuned. 9 videos coming this way. By the time I talk to you live again, we will be in 2020. And don't forget, be ready to make an investment in 2020 if you really want to earn scholarships to go to college and graduate debt free. Thank you, Lily. I'm glad it was powerful. I really have enjoyed all of the support, all the love you all have given me in 2019. This is my first year on YouTube. And so I have really grown a lot from being able to practice my craft, speaking, hopefully pouring into you all positively and giving you advice. Thank you, sister. Good job. That's right, New Division. 2020 is a year of winners. If you want it, you got to go get it. No one's going to give it to you. And I'm here to help you achieve and succeed in whatever you want to do. As always, if there's anything I need to improve on, contact me and let me know. If you wanted me to create a certain video, drop a comment, let me know. I'm here to help you. I will see you soon, and I will talk to you again in 2020. Y'all have a great Sunday.